Well, howdy, everybody.
Yeah!
Welcome to Voices From The Vortex.
Woo! Coming all the way from the Wild West.
Woo! This here be Taylor.
And I be that there Matthew.
And today we're going to talk about A Town Called Mercy.
A Town Called Mercy. Woo! Giddy up.
Woohoo! So this one was... It was good. I liked it.
Great.
Yeah. The one thing that was interesting is they haven't done a Western, I read, since like way back when.
Forever
this was
ago,
the first time they'd ever done that.
Absolutely. You know, let me tell you something. Right off the bat, Doctor Who and Westerns go hand in hand the same way Michael J. Fox and time travel go hand in hand, okay? It was genius. I think they should do Westerns like every season. I'm all about it. I think Doctor Who should become a Western. Hands down. We're done. New genre. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be like, at least every couple of years to do a Western or something, you know. They do, you know.
We got a little of it last season with the Stetson and
with this,
going to America. America.
This is one of those episodes that when it starts off, it's like it's one of those where they don't really give you a lot of detail about what's like. I was like, what's going on? Like, who's this guy? What's with this guy? And you know, what are they saying? It makes no sense. Right. And then they slowly start to like explain, and so then it's like, oh, okay, so that's what was happening there.
Right, and you know, a lot of that was presented very well. We'll get to it, but I've got a couple of like, whoa, major plot hole here. Not sure what's going on. Maybe it just wasn't described well enough for me, or maybe it just, you know, whatever. But I just couple of things. So
yeah, it really was. It was different. Like dinosaurs on a spaceship. They really like told you everything that was like every detail right at the beginning.
Right.
Like, this is who this person is, and he was with her, and then this is the situation, and then here we go.
Right.
But in this one, it was like, hey, something crazy's going on. You don't get to know what it is yet, but the doctor's there.
Yay!
So,
there's
a guy. He's got a weird thing on his face, and we see the cyborg we've been seeing from the promos, and he says, "Make peace with your god." And he kills the guy. So there's one more. It's the doctor.
The doctor.
And so then we get the theme, and I'll say I was right. It was wood. It was lettering was like wood, looking like wood.
You were correct.
All right.
You were very correct. It looked really good, though.
Yeah, no, it looked good. I like what they're doing with that. It's kind of
right.
It's cool. Each episode has its own little
little twist.
Yeah, a little thing that goes with it.
A little quirk.
They're in America again. Like, this is like, they don't go there often. And usually even all the aliens have British accents.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But,
you know what that is, right?
No.
They're all leftover aliens from Star Wars who all spoke with British accents.
Oh, okay.
True story.
Yeah. So, the Doctor and Amy and Rory, they were supposed to go to Mexico, but they didn't quite make it. They were a couple 100 miles off. And they end up in this place.
True Doctor Who. A couple miles off, 100 miles off. No big deal.
Whatever. They end up in this town called Mercy, and it's got wood and rocks around it. And again, it's like, what's going on? What's up? Why? You know, they don't explain everything. And it's not until about a third of the way through you're like, they explain, you know, what's happening. I did like as soon as he walked into the bar, and like the Undertaker is like measuring him with the tape. It's so Back to the Future 3. Yeah. Where he's like, I don't need a new suit. He's like, oh, this is for your coffin.
It's for your coffin. Yeah. There were a couple throwbacks to Back to the Future in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of references to a lot of different westerns and western movies. And a lot of western.
Well, still with the...
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Just still with a Doctor Who twist to it, though.
Yeah. So there's a part where Amy says they find out that this cyborg is out in the desert, and he wants to kill an alien doctor, and Amy says, "Why would we want to kill you unless he's met you?"
Actually, something I want to bring up here. No, I don't. I want to bring it up in the next podcast.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Okay.
Bring it up later.
Okay.
No, but I do want to point out the first plot hole. Huge plot hole here. Is that why could the cyborg not enter the town? Why did he have this line that he had created that the sheriff says, they woke up one night, it was overnight, and there was a line there, and anyone who steps over, basically the cyborg was smoking him out. He was wasn't letting anyone in with food or provisions. But why wouldn't the cyborg just go in there and take what was his?
Yeah, I'm assuming he set up the wood and the sticks and stuff overnight or something, and then he's playing some weird little game. Mm-hmm. So, we'll find out he's actually trying to get this man called Kala Jex, who, I guess, so this is a new race of aliens here that they've never shown on the show before, called the Kala, or the Kala, or however they say it. And basically they're human, except they have a Mike Tyson tattoo on their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that they have a Mike Tyson tattoo, or is Mike Tyson one of them?
There you go.
He's Mike Tyson Jex.
That's right.
One must wonder.
I never thought of that. So, it turns out there was a war on their planet a long time ago, and he's a scientist who, him and some other guys, including the guy who was killed at the very beginning of the episode, built these like super soldiers. And this guy, Kala Tech, who was the cyborg out, who decided to wear some Western gear, which I thought was funny.
I like that.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to put on a hat.
Very man with no name.
Yeah, exactly. He I guess went rogue, and he killed all the scientists except for the two, and now he got the one, and he's trying to get the other one.
There's also a really good guest star here who shows up, and I'm glad to see him. It's Ben Bowder, who's from Farscape, and he nerds out there who've seen Farscape now. This is the main character from Farscape, and it's really cool to see him, not just in Doctor Who, that is pretty awesome, but to see him just doing more sci-fi work. Dude just does not do enough sci-fi work. He needs to do more.
Yeah.
He's he plays the sheriff.
Yeah, he plays Isaac, right?
I loved Isaac. Oh, he was so great.
He's the marshal, and he wants to protect Kala Jex because he's the man who gave them all heat and lights and like helped cure cholera back when they had cholera a while ago. So there's kind of this pull between he's this bad guy who created all these soldiers, and then he's the good guy who helped everybody in the town. So the doctor he's got this plan to sort of he's like, okay, here's what we'll do. I'll just go get the TARDIS. I'll pop it back here. We'll pick him up, and they're like, oh, that's simple. He's like, yeah, whatever. So
this one time he's willing to use the TARDIS. He says he's getting old.
Yeah. And they're like, I like when he's like, you're not curious at all? What, me? Curious? No, whatever. So he goes out, he gets on the horse, the horse's name is Susan. And he wants you to respect his life choices.
Love Susan.
And
Susan the horse. That's a good horse name, don't you think? It's got equestrian name.
And he goes riding out into the desert. And I gotta say, the doctor with the hat and the horse just looks cool, I think.
Oh god, he's the lone rider traveling from town to town, saving people. I'm telling you, the whole show just needs to be a Western.
I'm surprised they haven't. Yeah, I mean, he's basically a space cowboy.
Space Cowboy.
His TARDIS horse, yeah.
The TARDIS is his horse. It's funny that he can put space in front of almost any aspect of any show, and it makes it cooler. Man, I was watching that episode of CSI last night. You mean Space CSI? Yeah, and they were investigating a homicide. Space homicide. Yep, and the one guy, the dude was all like, "Let me tell you about some cool statistics I know." Space statistics? Wow, that is so much cooler when you say it that way. Space Cowboy, Space Dog. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I just want to say I love the Doctor in a Stetson. I'm glad he gets to wear it again.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it back in a couple seasons ago. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it just looks good on Matt Smith. I think it. We were talking about this last week, but they, David Tennant. He could have done it, but it wouldn't have been. I mean, he rode on a horse in the.
No, yeah, the
Madame de Pompadour, and that was kind of cool. But
Tennant was a different kind of doctor, though. Tennant was not about the hats.
No,
this is a doctor that accessorizes as well.
Maybe a helmet, like a space helmet.
He wore Stetson in The End of Time Part 1.
Oh, you're right.
He did.
You're right.
He did.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the thing.
For those of you listening, we've gotten way off topic here. It's okay.
It's okay
for us to do that from time to time. Apparently, this whole podcast is going to be how many things can we reference to westerns with hats. Yeah, this isn't about Doctor Who anymore tonight. I'm sorry, folks. We got like 10 more minutes of Doctor Who and like another hour's worth of just talking about stuff. So
yeah. So he finds College X's egg ship, which was cool.
Egg ship. Naturally, that's what a doctor travels to space in, an egg.
Yeah. And this is where he gets in the database and he learns that he's this sort of war criminal. And it
pisses the doctor off, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
His wrath.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a bit, about how he is in this episode. He gets found by the cyborg Kala'tek, and he when he's like holding the gun up to him, it says "terminate," and every time I saw that, I always read it like a Dalek, like "terminate."
Yep. Face me. Anything
that ends with 8, I think it's going to be really.
Terminate. He's no Dalek, though, sadly.
Yeah, and so then he gets back into he convinces the guy not to shoot him, and he gets back into town and basically just like flips his lid, and basically he's like shoving the guy. He's like, "Get out of here! Get out of town!"
Throws him outside the circle, outside the line.
And this is another time where we see the Doctor hold a gun. And I think this is the first for Matt Smith, right?
Yes.
Holding a gun.
Smith has not had a gun yet. You see Tennant hold a gun twice.
Yeah.
You see it with the Doctor's daughter.
At least twice, a couple times, yeah.
And the End of Time Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and, Amy brings up a good point, which is, of course, in the previews. This is what happens when you travel alone. And it's interesting to me that, every time the Doctor travels alone, he starts making these really harsh choices. But you gotta wonder, too. I mean, he does this whole thing with, where he's facing something he recognizes in himself. He's facing this person who did these horrible atrocities, which he's done. He destroyed his whole people. Mm-hmm. And here he is, facing down the same thing. I mean, it's like that's what finally sets him off. He faced the Daleks at the beginning of the season, and he was angry, and he hated them. But he didn't flip. He didn't turn on them. Right. And so it's interesting that, even the thing he hates the most he won't turn on. As soon as he sees himself in it, that's where he finally loses it.
Right, and we find out he's been traveling alone a lot, which we saw with David Tennant, like, kind of right before right after Rose died, he was all angry and he was alone. And then definitely after Donna was gone, and he sort of all the specials there, he was alone for each of them. And by the waters of Mars, he's like, he goes crazy there too. He's like, I'm the Time Lord Victorious, and he's just like, just so angry about the whole,
Yeah.
And
well, once again,
you sort of see who he really is when he doesn't have somebody there.
Absolutely, people bring him back in. They ground him.
Right. I was just gonna say, now it sort of makes sense. Last week, he just let Solomon die, and now we're seeing, oh well, this might be why he did that, because usually he doesn't do that.
Right. Well, and that, yeah, absolutely. Well, he's getting, and him with the saying, I'm just going to get the TARDIS. He's getting old. He's getting tired. He's faced these scenarios time and time again. He's, much like a man who's gone through his whole life facing this stuff now. He's in his aged years, and he doesn't want to deal with this anymore. He's done. He's like, let's find the quickest way to solve this. Let's get the hell out. We're done. Let's get out of here. And then he sees, what he sees, and he goes, okay, no. Now I'm passing judgment. This guy's got to die. Then everything will be fine.
Right.
And it's not even a choice for him anymore. It's not even he has to mull it over. He's willing to just do it.
Yeah. And I like his line that was in the promo. We've been hearing it for a while. Is, now I honor the victims of the Master of the Daleks. Which I thought was cool that he referenced the Master. That's like... That's like the first Matt Smith reference of the Master.
Continuity, my friend.
I know. Well, I'm so happy. The last two seasons, it's like anything that kind of David Tennant did, they never really mentioned it anymore.
Yeah, it's very
now
few
this
references.
season, they're really kind of bringing some of that stuff. They're talking about, they brought the Daleks back, for a proper episode. And he just mentions the Master here, which is great that he did. I mean, he didn't have to mention the Master, but he did. So I love that. I'm kind of a continuity nerd. I kind of...
Lost nerds.
Really. I mean, it really really makes me happy when it's like, oh, he said that, like when the other episode. So he says, the victims that died because of my mercy.
Well, and there's a sense of the Doctor is not repentant. I mean, David Tennant was so burdened by his own choices, and you can really feel that in everything Tennant does. And then you got Matt Smith, who finally, I felt like, because Tennant had faced, would he do it again? Would he destroy his own people again if he had to make that choice? And he does. He says yes. He says this is the way. This is what has to happen. Even if I die, they have to go. And he survived it, of course, just like he did the first time. So with Matt Smith, you really started to feel like maybe he's over. Maybe he'll always feel the weight of it, but maybe he can finally move on and be happier and have fun adventures. And then you see him again in the episode with the Doctor's wife, where he's talking about he wants to ask forgiveness. That's why he's looking for these other Time Lord voices these distress calls that he hears. And now again, you see he's such a wounded animal still. He'll never be over it. He'll never be over the death of his people, and you feel that.
And so then the cyborg comes and he's going to shoot College X, but he ends up shooting Isaac because Isaac pushes him out of the way. So we get this scene, Isaac's dying in the Doctor's arms, and he says, "You're both good men. You just forget it sometimes."
Yeah,
which I liked. I thought that was a good line. I like that.
It's a good line.
So then the Doctor becomes the Marshal, and they have this. I kind of stopped taking notes for a while, and I just kind of watched sort of the rest of it. It was kind of... the Doctor has this conversation with College X in the jail just about, well, there's this going to be a standoff at noon, at high noon. The cyborg says, enough of this, turn him over at noon, by noon tomorrow, or, I'm going to start killing everybody. and he's got to like deal with the people in the town. You know, they're scared, and they say, you know, we should turn him over, and then he has to talk to College X about, and he sort of kind of gets to College X a little bit, which you find out at the end. And they talk about his faith and how his people believe that they, when they die, they have to carry all the souls they've wronged, and so he's kind of afraid of death a little bit.
Yeah, running from the things he's done.
Mm-hmm. So
good juxtaposition for the Doctor's feeling.
Yeah, definitely. The two of them were really parallel, which was a good. The Doctor, you know, the College X says someone's like, it's like looking in a mirror, isn't it? You know, when he was being all devious earlier, but it's good. Sort of good character juxtaposition. Mm-hmm. So they get to this. It's high noon, and sort of this standoff, and he uses his sonic screwdriver and makes a loud noise, and which the sonic screwdriver is almost like the TARDIS too. Like it does things that I didn't know it can do.
It's a Deus Ex Machina. I'm sorry, a Deus Ex screwdriver. Does whatever's required.
And then they do this. They sort of do this Three Amigos trick. Have you seen the movie Three Amigos? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where they all they get the people to sew the costumes, and so that it tricks them and thinks they're all running all over the place. Basically, they paint the tattoos on their faces and run through town. But then he figures it out. He's like, "This is a trick."
He's kind of slow on the uptake on that one.
Yeah, he finally figures it out. So then
you get Jex finally runs for his ship. Yeah. Realizing he can do something great for one last great thing just to save the town. Mm-hmm. Which I liked.
Yeah. And he decides to self-destruct the ship. And I hadn't really noticed it until this episode. There have been a lot of explosions this season.
Good.
Have you noticed this?
I have.
Every episode has had some explosions. The first episode, you know, there's the Doctor blows the Dalek up, and then he runs through as it blows up, and then they blow up a whole planet. Mm-hmm. And then dinosaurs in a spaceship. They shoot the missiles. There's an explosion there. Mm-hmm. And then this episode, the ship explodes. Another big explosion. I'm just like, man, a lot of explosions.
Well, and it's bigger than life. All this stuff was supposed to be bigger than life.
Yeah, they're really using the budget this year, I think.
Good.
They seem to get stockpiles of gunpowder. Mm-hmm. Or they had some left over from last season.
Must have. They must have had a little special effects budget for just explosions.
Left over. Yeah, let's throw it in here this season.
Well, might as well blow stuff up.
Next episode's, you know, just going to have some car blow up for no reason.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So he blows up the ship, and he blows up himself, and then so then the Doctor says, well, these people need, you know, like a sheriff. And the Kalatek, the cyborg, he decides to stay and be the sheriff for the town.
Yeah, and they do the whole narration from the beginning and the end about the little girl who you know, man
right,
fell
and
from
she
the
was
stars, and she's really talking about the cyborg and not the Doctor.
One thing that was interesting was like at the end of this, Amy and Rory, they were like, they wanted to go back. You know, they were like, hey, can we go? Like maybe next time. You know, our friends are going to notice we're starting to get older than them. You know, starting to look older before them, and which I thought was interesting that they wanted to, which I think we'll kind of start to see, I mean, the run of the Pawns is ending soon, so we're starting to get this sort of easing into it, like they don't want to, they're not there like all the time, and they say, you know, yeah, let's go, which I thought was weird because no one wants to leave.
Yeah, well, it's bizarre to see the Pawns not want to go on the adventures, and you do kind of get this feeling like maybe it is that they're finally getting tired of traveling with the Doctor, and that's sad. I don't think people should ever tire of traveling with him.
Yeah, it's weird, and really the other thing I had was this episode was okay. I think I liked Dinosaurs on a Spaceship a little better.
This episode was a little predictable, and there's nothing wrong with predictable.
And I think I'm not a huge Western fan, so I think that might. I mean,
so my whole season of Doctor Who being a Western idea is not going to fly well with you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd.
I'm going to write one to Stephen Moffat, just be like, dude, just a whole season, nothing but a Western. And then he's going to get a second letter from you, and it's like, dude, no, don't do a Western.
No,
whole season, nothing but dinosaurs on a spaceship. Just play just the Doctor and a T-Rex.
No, I liked it, and I enjoyed this. It was good, and I enjoyed the story. I just think, so far, it was the weakest one. I mean, there's only been 3, but...
Oh. No, and it's maybe for that. I was more of a fan of this one than Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, because this one felt a little more over-the-top, epic movie style than the other one did. One of the things I've noticed...
I was just saying, you got a little more seriousness in there as far as and seriousness is usually good sometimes because you get more of a sort of forward movement in the plot and sort of in the character development rather than in some of the sillier ones where you just have some fun adventure and stuff. I mean, you don't really learn.
One of the things I've begun to notice about this season, I don't know if it's something conscious or not, but the music is not as epic as it has been. The music is good, but it seems... I don't know, like, especially with Asylum of the Daleks, there were way too many moments where you felt like there should be something a little more serious, and the music was a little sillier, a little goofier. And I felt that a lot about Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. And this episode, for me at least, brought more of that old Doctor Who theme back out of it. You know, the I am the Doctor, or the majestic tale of the Doctor, Madman with a Box. So you're getting a lot more of, I feel like, the Doctor Who we've seen the last 2 seasons, while they're still trying to keep it fresh and young for kids.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, it was good.
Good episode.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
Acting this season has been good. Really wishing they would grow characters a little more. I know this is the last season for the Pawns, but I feel like those two have really been relegated to the classic, hey, let's be exposition characters. This episode just did not seem like it was a Rory, Amy episode. It was a Doctor episode.
Yeah, I've noticed that too about Amy and Rory this season. The first 2 seasons, well, with every companion, there's always some growth with the characters. You know, with the companions that come with them, and I feel like they've grown a whole bunch, but now they're sort of, now that they got there, they're like, there's not much else for them to do.
Yeah,
you know, except
the Doctor's changed his way he sees them, you know. He was taking them with him. He wanted to show them everything as a married couple. And then he gets to a point where he realizes, I'm going to get you guys killed. You have to lose your faith in me. You have to be normal. And he drops him back off at home. And so now, instead of taking him with him, he's just coming and visiting him every now and then. 10 months later, 6 months later, 2 years later, whatever it is. He just comes and sees him. He says, hey, okay, let's do a fun adventure. And then he brings him back.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, it's getting a little different, and I think we'll see next episode, you know, more about their, sort of that relationship, and
I hope so.
Yeah.
Do any of you out there agree or disagree with us? Feel free to make your own video blogs and put them up on Facebook and or a YouTube channel, and link us on Voices From The Vortex over on our Facebook page.
And
let us know what you think.
Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter, Vortex Podcast, at Vortex Podcast, and our website with all the audio on it and some of my rantings about the timeline, which I just put on there recently. That's Voices From The Vortex .tumblr.com, and you can email us too. We have an email.
Oh yeah, voicesfromthevortex@gmail.com, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Am I right about that, Taylor?
So, contact us.
Let us know your thoughts. Illuminate, illuminate, illuminate.
Well, now it's time for that time in the podcast thing where we talk about what we think is going to happen next week. It's oh my god, that promo!
Oh my god, that promo!
So,
oh my god, that promo!
Yeah.
Let me start this one off. I'm just going to quell everybody's hopes and dreams here of a great promo. I didn't like it. Didn't like the promo.
No, it doesn't. The one thing about it is I have no idea what the hell's going to happen in this episode.
There's
cubes, and then that's all I know is there's going to be some cubes.
Rory's dad's there. We saw him.
Rory's dad. I was excited about that. Brian's coming back. That's awesome.
That's it. That's all we know.
But really, yeah. I mean, there's a little bit. They talk about Amy and Rory talk about their two lives they have, one with the doctor and one at home. Mm-hmm. And they're like, do we need to choose? What's gonna happen? And so that's kind of interesting there, but
over there.
Otherwise, maybe I don't know. And I'm hoping we maybe get some sort of timeline clue here, like a calendar, or somebody actually says the date.
Hey, remember that time 16 days ago when we were opening the Pandorica? Yeah, I remember that. That was good. Yeah, something, anything.
Yeah, anything would be great. So yeah, I mean, it looks good though. I'm actually more excited for this one than I was for the Western one.
Because we don't
only
know
because I don't know anything. Yeah, I mean, Asylum of the Daleks. I mean, I saw a crap ton of promos for that before it came out. Dinosaurs on Spaceships, pretty self-explanatory.
Very much so. Town Called Mercy.
This Western one, huh?
It's a Town Called Mercy.
About a town called Mercy. It was right, and there was the cyborg bully, and I mean that was pretty much. It was pretty much almost what I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's always a little twist of like not exactly what you think it's going to be. Terminate. When you see the promo, but.
Terminate.
Yeah, there's always like an interesting plot point that they leave out of the promo, which is good. They should.
Yeah, if a promo told us everything, that would suck.
I hate when they give away anything, but this promo, I feel like bitches. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on.
It's going to be
underwhelmed me as a promo. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Oh my god, that promo!
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, oh, that promo.
No, that promo.
Right. Oh.
Yeehaw!
Well, that's it for us this week.
Oh, thanks for visiting us here on the ranch of the Vortex. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeehaw!
You guys have a good time, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. Come back and, see us next week.
Yeah, we'll...
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Woo-hoo, that's right. Don't be strangers now.
So long from the Vortex.
Goodbye.